Hello, Mr. Elder. Big fan.
Thank you.
I am having discussions with my friends who are strong left-leaning, and they point out the longer sentencing of people of color. Other than this argument, they point to intangible, no facts.
Right.
How can I refute these claims? Because I am concerned because of privatized prisons and their implications. Also, amazing movie, future California Governor Elder.
Well, David, you said a mouthful. Let me answer your question. This business about black people getting longer sentences because of their race is something that the former AG Eric Holder publicly said. He gave a speech and he talked about pernicious racism. He said, the people like Donald Sterling, the former owners of the Clippers, who blatantly said all sorts of inflammatory racist things, we can deal with people like that. The blatant stuff we got. It's the pernicious racism, his term, that we need to deal with. And one example of said pernicious racism, David, is the example that you just now gave, that black criminals who commit the same crime as committed by a white criminal will get a longer sentence. And it is true. I think the sentence is about 12.5% longer, something like that. I think it's under 20%, but between 12.5 and 20% longer. And the reason for that is because the average black criminal has a longer record than the average white criminal, and your criminal record, convictions, is taken into consideration when the judge determines sentencing. Now, there is a commission called the U.S. Sentencing Commission, federal board that oversees all of this. And they said about this allegation that the sentence is because of racism, they said that there is a difference in sentencing, no question about that, but that the difference can be explained by, quote, legitimate factors, end of quote. So it's just not true. And I've written a piece about this. You can take a look at it, David. Just Google Larry Elder and Eric Holder, pernicious racism, differences in sentencing. And you might even put in U.S. Sentencing Commission because all those words are in the article. It'll pop right up. And I go over it in a very detailed and I think a very orderly way, what Eric Holder said and why it's wrong. And I've always said this too. Leo Terrell, before he did his 180 and now he sounds a lot more sensible. Leo Terrell is a criminal defense lawyer. There are lots of criminal defense lawyers. Johnny Cochran expanded his law firm all over the country after the O.J. Simpson victory. There are a bunch of criminal defense lawyers. There's also the ACLU. There's also a bunch of nonprofit legal organizations. If it is true that black men are getting longer sentences than white men just because they're black, where the hell are the class action lawsuits against the racist criminal justice system? And if you can make a civil rights violation, sometimes you can get treble damages. So there's a financial incentive to file these lawsuits and to win. Where are they? Where are they? And I mentioned this before. After the O.J. Simpson case, I don't know why Mr. Darden felt a need to do this, but he joined with the ACLU, and he made the argument that blacks were being disproportionately pulled over because of their race. And for the first time, the LAPD was ordered to or agreed to, I can't remember where it was a mandate or where they agreed to do it because it was coming down the track anyway. They might as well jump ahead of it. And from now on, you have to write down the race of anybody that you stop in a traffic stop. And they before had never done that. And the theory was that once this data are there, then we'll be able to determine exactly the degree to which police are pulling over black people just because they're black. So we've had this data now for probably 20 years. And the police in San Francisco have always had to write down, for around the same period of time, they've had to write down the race of the people they pull over, as have the Oakland PD. So all this data are here. Where are the lawsuits? Because the data do not show what those activists thought it was going to show. Because the data does not tell you anything about behavior. And as I told you about that study that was done in New Jersey, when Chrissy Todd Whitman was the governor of New Jersey, and it found out that on the New Jersey Turnpike, the faster the car, the more likely the motorist was a black person. And that is why they were pulled over, quote, disproportionately. There were two studies that they commissioned to look at this, and both of them came back and said the officers were doing nothing wrong. These cars were going real fast. And unfortunately, the faster the car, the more likely it is that the driver was black. I don't know. You tell me. 888-971. Hope that helps you, David. I am Larry Elder. Do not leave town.
Call in now and join the conversation. 888-971-SAGE. That's 888-971-7243. Setting fire to the airwaves. It's the Larry Elder Show.